My design wall is getting a little full. I better get down to work real soon. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog number 426 for October the 13th, 2025. And I hope everybody in Canada is having a good Thanksgiving weekend. Today is Thanksgiving Monday, so many people will be off for the holiday. And yeah, so let's jump right into what I have been working on. And now, usually I show you my progress with Stormy Sea. But instead of showing you the same old blocks, this is the new series of blocks that go with Stormy Sea. There are 4 of these. It's coming along, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. And we'll also talk more about this, which is the table runner that I designed. It's my own pattern, pretty basic pattern, but the top is done. This is the table runner that's going to be a Christmas gift for my hairdresser. Now, the colors have shifted in this picture because if you remember, she wanted to have the colors of sage and aubergine and a little bit of gold in it, that kind of thing. And all those colors are there, although they're reading more purple than an aubergine. That's a hard word to say, especially this time of the day. And what looks like gray is actually sage, and it does in real life have those colors, but this is basically because, colors shift when you take a picture and your screen and everything like that. More about that tomorrow. So moving right along, what's next on the agenda? Well, YouTube channel of the week. If you like gadgets, and I like gadgets, I love looking at them, bought a few of them in my day. And these are the kind of things that usually you use once and never use again, especially when it comes to kitchen gadgets. Well, because we are going to Japan in May, and Japan looks like the capital of the world for really neat gadgets, I found this video on YouTube I found really interesting. It's called I Tested Weird Kitchen Gadgets in Japan. As you've heard me mention, Walter and I are off to Japan next spring for a couple of weeks, and we're really getting excited about that trip. But we're also watching a lot of videos on YouTube that deal with Japan and what we can expect to find there. And one of the ones we came across has to do with gadgets. And Japan is, I think, the world's leader in inventing really weird gadgets. Some work, some don't. In this particular video I found called I Tested Weird Kitchen Gadgets in Japan, the person who put this up, Patrick Zanelli, he does a lot of shopping for weird kitchen gadgets, and he brings them home and tests them and lets us see the results. And yeah, there are some things here you've probably never thought of, and others that you would go, why would anybody bother? But anyways, if you're into gadgets, especially kitchen gadgets from other countries, then you want to check out this particular video called I Tested Weird Kitchen Gadgets in Japan. Links in the show notes. You'll find a link for that YouTube video clip if you're interested in it in the show notes below. You'll also find a link for Sewing with Stephen, always on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Come and go as you please. You don't have to be there at 9. Come whenever you feel like it. Go whenever you feel like it. And the link for it is in the show notes. And yeah, if you've never been with us, do come along. We've had a few new people in the last few weeks, and we love meeting new people and having them join us for Sewing with Stephen. You will find links, of course, to all of last week's videos as well, and anything else I talk about in this video today. So, excuse me, let's take a look at the weather outside, shall we? Well, it's dark. My forecast is today early it will be dark, and as the day progresses, it will get progressively lighter, and then it'll get progressively darker and be dark again. Yeah, there's my weather forecast. Hard to tell in this particular picture what kind of day it's going to be because it's dark. But according to the weather in Canada, it says that right now it is 10 degrees C, but they say it feels more like 6. So yeah, We're in that kind of temperature rating right now. And the high is going to be 19, which is comfortable. Do we have any rain in the forecast today? Doesn't look like it. And in fact, it doesn't look like we're going to have any rain until Friday and Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, just in time for the weekend, that kind of thing. But yeah, it looks like today is going to be very sunny throughout most of the day. So once that sun comes up, we'll see how that turns out. So yeah, that's today's weather. And in a few minutes, I'll be going outside for my walk and enjoying. So what's pissing me off today? Well, it's not so much pissing me off as it's making me very concerned. And you've heard the expression elbows up. It's something here that got started in Canada, which basically was showing our loyalty to our country, especially under the threat of Trump and telling us he wants to make us the 51st state and all that kind of crap. Yeah, that's coming right out of his rear end. But, and it's never going to happen. But that gave us all a renewed sense of patriotism for us Canadians. And, we're buying Canadian and we're showing that, no one's taking us over. We are unique in this world as a sovereign country and all of that good stuff. But I've noticed that the enthusiasm for all of this is waning a little bit. At least it seems that way to me. Now, people are still, excuse me, still buying Canadian whenever we can. We're supporting our local businesses and everything like that. We're still got our heels dug in that there's no bloody way ever that the United States is going to make us part of them. But I think we're getting just a little too complacent about how things are going, because we're starting to just, okay, this is the new world order. Sorry, let's just get on with life and it'll all work itself out. And that's a very Canadian attitude. We usually do get really gung-ho about something at the beginning, but as time goes by, we get used to it all and we just take it as it comes, kind of a thing. Now, that's dangerous, okay? Because we are under a real threat right now from our neighbors to the south, and especially one particular one, Trump. So we've got to keep our guard up. Now, our prime minister, he looks like he's being somewhat complacent. I don't think he is. I do have faith in him that he has our best interests at heart, but sometimes it's hard to stand behind him when you see him in the Oval Office with Trump and literally being insulted by the Great Pumpkin. But I have to give Carney a lot of credit under that kind of pressure, under kind of the insults, and they're insults. He didn't leap out of his chair at any of those meetings and strangle Trump, because I think most of us would like to do that. But Carney kept his cool, and I really admire that. That's a man that knows how to be diplomatic, but at the same time, he knows how to manipulate his enemy, and he is manipulating Trump. Now, say what you will, and if you're a Trump supporter, you won't see that at all, but who cares about you? I mean, really. But he is very cool, very much a diplomat, very much an adult. And when you compare him to the Great Orange Pumpkin, well, there is no comparison. Carney is the better man, for sure, by miles away. So we as Canadians need to look at that. Our strategy for Canadians is not to get in the face of our opposition. It's to be cool, to weigh it out, to study strategy. And that's what Mark Carney's doing. But I think a lot of Canadians have forgot about that. So we got to get back on the pathway towards that as well. Because the danger is, if we become complacent about everything that's happening, that's when the enemy swoops in and conquers us. And we cannot afford to have that happen. We have dissension, though, within our own country, in our own ranks. And it's out west. Alberta, to be particular. Let's call a spade a spade. Their premier out there, I thought Doug Ford, our premier in Ontario, was bad. She's worse. and I didn't think that could happen. Um, she pretends that she has the uppermost in her mind the welfare of her constituents, of the people of Alberta. I don't think she does. But then I don't believe that any politician really, after what I've said about Mark Carney, has truly has um, us in mind. We put them in power, and most of them are very, very wealthy, um, and they like power and they want to stay in. And she is a really good example of that. And she wants to have a pipeline go from Alberta through to BC. And the BC premier says, this isn't a province thing. This is a federal thing. Get your nose out of the business. But she's causing dissension, and that's not a good thing. She's creating conflict. At this point in history, we do not need conflict within our own borders of our own country. We have to have our borders. And when I mean borders here, I'm not talking about the physical border. I'm talking about the metaphorical border. We need to be strong. Elbows up. So come on, Daniel Smith, get with the program here in Canada. If you don't want to be with us, then leave us. You go move somewhere else, i.e. Texas. I know some people get upset with that I call Alberta the Texas of the North, but if you look at it, many, many things are very similar. So, you can feel free to disagree with me. That's perfectly all right. Not going to change my mind, but you can disagree with me on that issue. But yeah, we don't need that kind of thing happening in our country now. Besides, we already have some conflict. We have conflict with the ongoing conflict with our native peoples. And we have conflict, right or wrong, going on with, every now and then. It's not so bad right now, but with the Quebecois. That's Canada. And those are our own battles, and they've been ongoing, and they are not battles that have been started up because of the Great Orange Pumpkins actions. So, Daniel Smith, get with the program. Even Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, that I think is an idiot, even he is with the program, and strongly so. So, yeah, she should be too. But I guess what I'm really saying is we don't need inner turmoil right now when we're trying to fight the outer turmoil. And if we just say, well, whatever, it'll work itself out. Well, it will work itself out one way or another. But we would like it to work itself out in our favor, don't we? So we can't become complacent with everything that's going on. We have to have elbows up and remember who we are. We are proud people. We are compassionate people. We are kind people. We are Canadian. So let's maintain our identity because it is unique. Okay, get off the soapbox. And I did all of this while you were looking outside. Yeah, because I forgot to change the camera. Oh well, that's probably a better view looking outside than looking at me. But I'm back, so now you have to look at me. Okay, let's move to what's going on with our garden. Well, it's done. We had a good year with the garden, and we had bountiful harvest. And here is a picture of the last of the harvest. It's all our peppers. We have orange peppers, yellow peppers, green peppers, and we've got jalapenos, and we've got a cucumber in there, and we've got chili peppers as well. So I took the last of these, went out and picked everything. We also had some what I call the 2-bite melons, because we started the cantaloupes a little late in the season, so we got ones that were about that big. They're not huge. Very, very tasty though. Nice and sweet, really, really good. They were really good, and we're still eating them. We still have a few of those. So I said to Walter, I think we should try and grow those again next year, but we'll just put them in a little bit earlier. because I think that's why they didn't get to the size that we wanted. Maybe. We'll see. It could have been the way the weather went this year too. I don't know. I'm not a melon grower. Well, I guess we are now. So I picked all of these and cleaned them all up, and I pickled them. So I got about 4 jars of the pickled peppers, which is a mixture of everything you saw in that bowl, with the exception of the cucumber. And then I got a small jar that I just pickled hot peppers right here down on the front on the left. They're just chili peppers. And I think there's one larger jar of just sliced up jalapenos. So I got quite a bounty this year because I had more than this, as that I've already had previously done a week or so ago. So I'm very proud of myself that I have all of this canned for the winter. Um, so what will we do come next year? Well, right now we're starting. We have what I'm going to call the winter crop. So we've already got some peppers growing under one set of grow lights, and we're going to have lettuce again and put in some more basil and tomatoes. Walter took the one, we had several different varieties of tomato plants, and one of them we found out was a low growing bush kind of cherry tomato plant. They call it a kitchen tomato plant, and it is meant to only grow so high, like very, very short little, it's more like a bush than a tree plant. I don't know what the word is for it. So Walter decided to harvest seeds from some of those and try to plant them. Now, all he did was he took the tomatoes, squished the seeds into the dirt, spread them out, covered them over. They have all come up. They're coming up. It was that easy. I thought you might have to, take the seeds out, wash them, dry, let them dry, and sit in something, or ferment a little, or something like that. We'd read about that, and that might take some time. Nope, just squeeze them and leave them. It's as easy as that. So I'm looking forward to that because I think these ones are going to work out well under the lights. The tomato plants we grew before, we got some tomatoes off them under the lights, but they got too big and they were spindly and the whole bit. So it wasn't, and they took a long time. So maybe we'll have better luck with this variety. We shall see. Time will tell. So that's what we're doing now, starting for the late fall, winter harvest kind of a thing, or growing period under the lights. Okay, so and I don't have any pictures of the grow lights right now because there's not much to show you. That's why I showed you the pickled stuff. What's on my agenda next? New products. Okay, nothing much here that's exciting. I just ordered a little bit more filament because I'm going to be making another one of those fluve, however you say his name. The Dracula castle I did a week or two ago and showed you. And I've made a lot of his models. Well, this one, I've had this one for a while, but now it's time to make it. And I think it's really cute. It's called the Tuscan Villa. But I needed to order a few filaments because I didn't have all the colors that he suggests you use for this. But they should come today or tomorrow, the new filaments, and I can get started on this building. Now, I have no idea where this is going to go. I've now made, let's see, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. What is your 5 of his creations, and this will be number 6. I'm running out of space, but I love making them, and I love the end result of them because he puts a lot of time and effort into creating these. He's a genius as far as I'm concerned because, well, the programs you need to design these kind of things, you got to be good at this, and he's very good at it. So yeah, that'll be coming up, so watch for the final product in a few weeks time. And so where's that take me right now? That takes me to old video clips from S&W Live, and this is going to be a two-parter. We'll see the first part this week, the second part next week, and it is about a little incident that happened when we had a cleaning person in the days when we had other people clean our house. I'm the person that cleans the house now. Stolen cell phone. Yeah, we were victims to a crime. And it was kind of a weird kind of thing. Uh, so this is the first part of what I'm calling S&W on stolen cell phone.
So what's the mystery, says Anita. Okay, so here's the mystery. How to start this. Okay, so I told you that on Tuesday our cleaning lady came. Our cleaning lady has a young fellow kind of helping her out. Now, occasionally, we've had this cleaning lady for over 15 years, and never any problems. Always great. And occasionally she brings somebody in to help her out with it, which is fine. Um, so she's had this young guy, somewhat in his young, early 20s, I would think, helping her out. Well, Tuesday night, we were watching TV, and then Walter decided he was going to go to the gym. So you pick it up.
So when cleaning lady comes, and my office tends to be a bit of a mess. So what I do is the day before I usually clean everything up, put stuff in my drawers and stuff like that, right? So I've been using my old iPhone 6 to go to the gym and use it as an iPod instead of because it doesn't have a SIM card in it or anything like that, and it's lighter than my new phone. So plus I don't even want to gunk up my new phone, right? So I knew I had it and updated it on the Monday. So I put it in my drawer, my top drawer on my in my desk on my left hand side, and for when the cleaning lady came. So on Tuesday night, which is the day that she had come, I went to go to the gym. I went to grab my iPhone 6 to use at the gym, and I couldn't find it.
So
And I have a tendency of misplacing things.
yeah,
So
he never puts anything in the same place twice. There are many times where he says, "I can't find my car keys. I can't find my wallet. I can't find my contact case, whatever." And then I go into search and destroy mode, meaning, "Did you try this?" And then he gets really pissed off with me, and he says, "Yes, I checked that." Yeah, check again. So I said to him, "Did you pull everything out of your drawer?" Yeah, well, no. What he does is he opens the drawers and he goes like this, pulls out one thing and he goes, yeah. And if you saw the drawer, I says, "No, you got to take everything out." "Well, it can't be, it's not there. I'm sure I put it in there." So I said, "Maybe it's in your gym bag. Maybe you forgot." Because, you get to a point where you do things routine and sometimes you forget, because it's just a routine. That's the way I'm going to explain it. I'm not going to explain it as Alzheimer's.
well, anyway, I pulled everything out of my gym bag about 3 different times. I itemized. I emptied my desk. My desk is full of crap. I emptied my desk, put them all in plastic bags and everything else. Could not find this phone.
He never made it to the gym because he spent all night practically, and I was trying to sleep, and all I could hear was riffing, rinse, boom, 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 up and down the stairs and up near and back.
I
and
looked
forth.
around. I thought maybe I left it somewhere, did something. I looked everywhere I could look and I could not find it.
And
So
Maria says, "That's a man thing." Sorry, not for me, because I know where everything is. I am
now
so anally retentive that
that
I've labeled my cupboards downstairs in my craft room with what's in them. So
that night he offered to loan me his old one, which wasn't working very well. But
that's the one I washed that I
yeah,
told you about, right?
but I said no, 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 I don't want it right now. So anyway, so
Well, that's not actually how calm he said it.
no.
He says, "Okay, fine." Head opened up. He swallowed the room. I mean,
Okay, yeah, I
crows,
guess
fangs,
I
horns,
have
the
a
whole
bad
bit.
temper. Anyway,
He's Dutch.
so I didn't go to the gym that night. I looked and I looked and I looked. I couldn't find it. So next morning,
Next morning, he's still in bed. I get up and I figured, okay, well, I'll just grab my old iPhone 6 and the other one, I kept thinking, okay, he's put it somewhere. It will turn up eventually, but in the meantime, he can use mine, even though that the screen is kind of fuzzy. It still worked. It's just, it was cloudy. So I went into the drawer where I keep it. Mine's not there. Not only is it not there, but I was keeping it in my box that my iPhone 10 came in. My iPhone 10 box is not there. I'm going, wait.
and he doesn't misplace stuff. I'm the one that misplaces stuff.
And I'm going out of my mind. I'm going, first of all, Did I throw it away? Nope, I wouldn't throw it away because I have a graveyard of old electronic pieces that don't work, but I've never thrown them away.
He still had his iPhone 6
That's a man
box.
thing. Yeah. I found the iPhone 6 box. Now, then you go through your head, you try to backtrack. I had moved some things around for the perler beads so I could make room for perler beads, but I found everything that I'd moved around, and I was sure I had this thing in my desk drawer. It's not there.
Then you start worrying that you've got Alzheimer's.
Well, yeah, we were both thinking, are we losing our minds here? What happened? Turned 60 and I've got Alzheimer's? What's going on? So I pulled everything apart. Actually, in hindsight, it was good because there were some drawers that really needed cleaning out.
Well, yeah, same with me.
So went through everything. I even started looking in places where I knew there was no possible way, like almost to the point where I wanted to take the cover off the toilet tanks, off the toilet backs and look in the tank. That was how nuts this was. So I said, all right, we've been robbed. Well, who robbed us? Only person that had been in this house had been our cleaning lady and her helper. I know our cleaning lady wouldn't have touched it. We don't know who this guy is. We've never met him.
And prior to that, the only people that were in our house was at Christmas time, and we hadn't gotten the new phones at that point in time. So in between then and the time we had the house cleaned, there had been nobody in the house other than us.
Yeah. So we probably figured. Now I thought, oh God, all we have is circumstantial evidence. How are we going to handle this? So I called my cleaning lady and I said, I didn't want to sound like I was accusing her of anything, because I wasn't, but the unknown factor was this guy helping her. So I said to her, now, right off the bat, I says, Stacy, I said, I am really embarrassed about making this call right now. It's very awkward. And then I explained to her what was going on. And I kept reiterating that I wasn't pointing a finger or accusing her. I said, the next time you come to clean, maybe you'll come across it. Maybe you'll find them. And if you do, just throw them on the kitchen counter, write a note where you found it. I said, other eyes are better than ours, maybe, for this kind of stuff. I was trying to be nice. I didn't really believe that she was going to find it or anything like that. Well, I got a sense that when I was talking about the guy that's helping her out, she didn't say anything about him, but through some of the things I was discussing with her, the tone in her voice suggested to me that there was some doubt in her mind about the honesty of this character that was working with her too. But she never said that. It was my little spidey senses going. Anyways, we left it, did some more hunting, turned the house upside down again, didn't find it. Also couldn't find my father's wedding ring. When my father had passed away, my mother had given me my father's wedding ring. It was a gold band with a small little diamond chip in it that she had bought him years ago for Christmas because when they got married, he never had a wedding ring. And she bought this for him one time at Christmas. Now, I don't think it cost a lot of money, but sentimental value. In fact, to the point where I had it resized and I was going to wear it on my wedding finger hand, but I had my wedding band there. His was wider, and when I put it on, I couldn't bend my knuckle. So Walter says, well, just don't wear your wedding band, wear your father's ring. I says, no, this is my wedding band. This means more to me than wearing my father's ring. So I put it away. I can't find it anywhere. And I even thought maybe I'd given it to my nephew because the thought went through my head at one point in time. So I emailed my sister and said, did I give my dad's wedding ring to William? And she wrote back, no, you never gave that to him. And I went, don't tell Mom. I have told her since, though, and she is a little, not that much upset, but, I'm pretty upset about it. But anyways, I don't know if that has anything, well, I know it has nothing to do with this guy.
This incident, because we don't know when the wedding ring.
No, I haven't seen it for a while, like several years, but it's not where it should be. But anyways, so back to the story. So we're thinking about what are we going to do, and then it dawns on me and went, crap, if that guy stole our phones, he's been in our house several times, he knows what's in our house, he probably knows where Stacy, our housekeeper, keeps her keys, because she has a key to the house. He may know what our security code is for our burglar alarm system. And he probably knows that we're going to be away for 5 weeks in Australia. We could come home and the house would be gutted. We have a lot of electronic stuff. And back up the truck and take it all away. So first thing we're talking about, okay, we're going to change the lock on the door. We're going to change the security code. And I'm going to call Stacy. And basically, I'm thinking I may have to fire her. And I didn't want to fire her with this. So I kind of grieved over that. I mean, we had 2 nights where, well, I didn't really sleep all that well because
No.
of all of this. And you do feel violated. I mean, my brother was robbed years ago, and I remember him talking about feeling violated and the whole bit. You really don't understand it until something like this happens to you. Now I get it. Because I really felt.
Like, I mean, his iPhone wasn't working anyway. Not that that's the thing, but my iPhone I was using at the gym. So you'll probably the only reason we actually noticed it was missing is because I was still using mine.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have noticed that mine was gone because it was in a box and I wasn't opening the box up
And he
for
wasn't looking for it. So.
No. So I sat down and wrote up some notes to myself to phone the housekeeper again and talk to her about it. Again, only circumstantial evidence. I couldn't really, I didn't want to accuse her, and it wasn't her anyways. I knew. I was pretty sure it was that guy.
Plus,
he took her for a ride.
Plus, stupid of me, for some reason I had turned off my find my phone on my iPhone, so I couldn't do anything to get to delete was on the phone. So I looked up, and apparently you can go to the police and give them your IMEI number, which identifies your phone, and it gets put on a blacklist so that if someone tries to activate your phone, it gets sold or something, and tries to activate your phone and the number's on that list, then all the companies check that number, and there's no way you can activate the phone. So I thought, and he told that to the
Yeah, okay, you're jumping
okay.
now ahead. But yes, I mentioned that, Spacey. But I also did find my phone, and it was registered on mine, but it said the phone wasn't on. And I immediately set it up to erase everything that was on the phone. I didn't have much of anything on there that was my private information, because I don't really keep that on my phone in case it does get lost. But I had some stuff, like, depending. So anyways, so I phoned up Stacy again.
Okay, so the second part of that will be next week, so be sure to tune in to see that if you're interested. Okay, so events in the past week. Well, Walter made a pumpkin pie, and let me just find my picture. So here's Walter's chiffon pumpkin pie. And yes, the top looks a little dark. It is not burnt. It went dark because this particular recipe calls for you to fold in egg whites. And so under the higher temperature, when you're baking your pie, they do go a little dark. But it certainly does not affect the taste or anything else. It is absolutely delicious. And I thought you might want to see Walter cutting the first slice of the pie. So here's a little video clip of that. So we're having pumpkin chiffon pie, and Walter's going to try his new toy, his whipper. Whip it good.
Well, I don't know if you'll have it here, but I don't know if it's gonna work yet. So.
It's fancy. They were on sale at Canadian Tire. Of course they were. So he has to put this thing in it.
Yeah, now you're gonna tape it, and it probably won't work.
Tape. Okay, so you screwed in the thing and did a little squirty squirt.
Yeah.
Looks like a bomb. It's the bomb. Oh, give it a shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your whipper. Shake your whipper.
See what it does.
Ooh, I shiver with anticipation. Oh, I thought it might be a bigger blast than that. looks pretty. Does it taste like whipped cream?
Mm-hmm.
Whipped cream with whatever's in that little canister. It's not CO2, it's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nitrous oxide.
Ooh, oh, if you breathe that in, well, I'll talk funny. And go to sleep.
No, it's not helium.
Oh, I thought nitric oxide makes you a little high, though.
Oh, yeah, it makes you high. Yeah.
Ooh, better. A little whipped cream and a little high. Okay, so now we're going to cut the pie. Now, you might wonder why the pie looks this color on the top. That is not burnt. It's because this particular pie, you have to fold in egg whites. And egg whites will go like that when you're cooking something like a pie at high temperature. But it doesn't taste burnt. It tastes like pumpkin. Ooh, I shiver with anticipation. Pie. We're having pie. My favorite food group. Pie and chemically whipped cream. Explosion.
Not chemically whipped cream.
Well, it's under pressure. We're waiting to see him squirt it on the pie. Will the first piece come out? Oh, it's being tricky. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Here it goes. All right, here it comes. First piece. First piece. And it came out. It came out. Second piece. There it is. Oh. That's your piece. That's the way they used to serve it at home when I was a kid. Well, only my piece. They turned my piece of pie or cake upside down all the time when I was a kid. They thought it was funny. Okay, come on, come on. Let's do the squirt. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, that's so pretty. Yum. Hey, you're a pig. So, let me think, switch this over. So, we had pop-up soda day on Saturday. Very well attended. At the height of it, I think we had about 27, 28 people, something like that. And the weather was kind of not pleasant here where I lived. So that's a perfect day for sewing if you're indoors. And I think a lot of people got a lot of things done. I know I got a lot done. I got the blocks done for that table runner that I showed you. So that was a good thing. And I think everybody had a really great time. So when's the next pop-up sew day, you ask? Well, that's a good question. Not until sometime in November, because in 2 weeks' time, we have the retreat. And then the weekend after that retreat, we're probably going to a town north of Toronto for a quilt show. And the weekend after that, we are off to a Quilts of Valor Sew Day. So we've been invited to that. And so, yeah, so the next pop-up sew day probably won't be until middle of November. Yeah, a lot of things coming up. Okay, so we also had Thanksgiving dinner at my sister's last night, and that was great. Everybody was there. Her in-laws were there. My nephew and niece and my nephew's girlfriend were all there. And it was very, very nice dinner. So we had a good time there. And my sister had found something. My sister is a cross-stitcher, a very good cross-stitcher. And she's constantly, and she has been for years, doing cross-stitching. Well, one of her friends found a 3D printed system for, I guess, handling your floss for cross-stitching. I don't cross-stitch, so I really don't know what's all involved in it. And she asked me if that was something I could print on my 3D printers. And I said, yep. And so later today, I'm going to get the printers going and print this for her. So, and you know, I love to print things for people. You know, got to keep those printers running. So, yeah. That'll be great. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, retreat registration update. We are at about 76 people. 76 or 77, about there. So we're filling up. Um, the requests to be registered are coming in little dribs and drabs right now, which is normal. Usually you get a big influx on the very first day when you open registration, get, maybe a lesser number the next day, and then as the days go by, you get maybe one, maybe two each day. But they are coming in. Now, what'll happen is there'll be another influx when people realize, ooh, we're really close to the date, which is October the 25th for the retreat. And suddenly they will have made up their minds and decide they want to come. And that's when things get a little hairy, meaning that it'll fill up very quickly. But I do start a waiting list because there's always somebody that has to drop out because of unforeseen circumstances. And when that's the case and they let me know about that, then I fill that spot with people on the waiting list. So, there's an opportunity even if it does fill up. But if you're sitting on the fence, as I said yesterday on Stephen Walter Live, get off the fence because you snooze, you lose. Yeah. Okay, so that's coming along nicely. We were supposed to go next weekend to Walter had an in-person sew day with his people, and I was going to go to that one and was going to work on that table runner. Well, it got canceled. The guy who runs it, he has to go to Munich. Yeah, Munich, Germany for business, for his job. So he's delayed it and he's putting it on the same day as how dare he, as my retreat. So won't be attending that one. Maybe one will come up on a date in November and I might go then, or I don't know. We'll see how that all works out. And then I've already mentioned the fact that we have a sew day with the Quilt of Valor people in a place called Trenton, which is a Canadian Armed Forces base. It's about an hour and 15 minutes or so east of us. We went last year, if you remember, and you saw the video where they took one of my quilts that I donated and presented it to a vet, and that was a very moving ceremony when they did that, and I did show the video of it a year ago. They aren't presenting one of my quilts this time. I think they only have 2 presentations that day, but we'll go down and they have kits already made up to make more Quilts of Valor, or you can work on your own project, but we'll do one of their kits as well. Probably the same thing as what happened last year is we didn't quite get it finished. Walter and I both work on the same one together. And we bring it home and finish it at home, and then I quilt it and donate it to Quilts of Valor later on. We'll see how that all works out. They will take them and quilt them too, or finish them up if you don't get them done. But I thought, well, it's the least I can do. So that's coming up, but not till about November 8th. So we have a few weeks from that, which means that today, after this is all recorded and I've done my walk, I'm going to put my Quilt of Valor top that I finished, several months ago, and it's been hanging out in the Lucy room waiting to be quilted. Well, now I have the urgency to get it done. So today I'm going to quilt that quilt and get it over with. As I've said before, I don't really enjoy quilting, that part of the process. I enjoy piecing, although I'm usually very happy with the end result once it's quilted. And I mean, after all, I've got Lucy and it's on a computer. I mean, duh, how hard can it be? It's not like I'm there doing free motion, because no, that would be a mess. Okay, so I'm rambling on here. More about that kind of stuff tomorrow on The Idiot Quilter. Yeah, so I'm done. Bye. Have a great week. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.